Hi, welcome once again to Shared Moments with Justus. Today, I'm really excited to host or just have a discussion or conversation around issues that I'm really passionate about, and so is my guest, who is also doing what you would call prison ministry, but be it because she has been in prison herself, and what she has learned is really an eye-opening experience that is helping her now to be able to reach out to inmates, other people who are still in prison, because she understands the pain and what they are going through. And so she is none other than Grace Judith Akinyi, and she also runs an online platform that is called Saga Prison Stories. You need to visit that, and if you have not subscribed, kindly check it out and subscribe, because this story is going to run on her channel as well. So, karibu sana.
Asante.
This is an exciting moment, and I'm really looking forward to have this conversation, because last time when you came here, you were actually talking about your own experience.
Yes.
You highlighted briefly about some of the interventions you're doing at the moment in terms of the help you're extending to other people who are in need. And one that stood out really during that conversation was the story of Makena.
Yes.
And that is why we're here
Today.
And that is what we want to talk about briefly. I've been following you closely, even on your channel.
I've been following you too.
And the impact really that you're having.
Yes.
You know, for you, I think what stands out is you're not just having a YouTube channel for the sake of creating content.
No.
But you are changing people's lives. You are giving people an opportunity to make their lives better. And for me, that is what the kind of storytelling that we do is all about. You know, so that it's not lost in the issue of views and subscriptions and those kind of things, even though that is important. And we want to remind you to subscribe to
Saga Prison Stories,
Shared Moments with Justus. Yeah, but really why we're here is to talk about a very specific case, and we'll do that very briefly, which I think maybe there are those who have not heard about. We are talking about Makena.
Yes.
But there could be someone who's not had an opportunity to follow what that story is about. If you may, perhaps briefly give a backstory to that.
So Makena's story actually is about a 22-year-old girl. As some of you already know, I make a lot of prison visits. And when I do that, I come across a lot of stories, and some are justified, some are not, because not everyone who is in prison is guilty. There are those who are guilty, and yes, they should pay for the crimes. And there are those who really don't deserve to serve the number of years that, you know, are pronounced for them. I have not studied law, but I feel that Makena's case, like most of you have shown in the comments section, that she does not deserve to be there. Makena is a 22-year-old girl who found herself employed in a wines and spirit shop in Meru, somewhere in Chuka. That day, I think the lady was not in the shop. Makena was in the shop, and in this shop, this lady had stocked some drinks that have not been passed by KEBS, that is Kenya Bureau of Standards. And so when the people who are in charge came to inspect or to check the shop, they found these drinks. And who was in the shop? It was Makena, the 22-year-old who had been employed. I think this was her 4th day in employment. And when these people came and found her, they arrested her and took her to court. And Makena was found guilty, and she was sentenced to 3 good years in prison or a fine of 100,000 shillings.
So perhaps, Judith,
Yes.
Makena is the one who was employed at this shop.
Yes.
And when the case came up, she is the one who was arrested, and the owner of the shop was not arrested? Or
No. And that is what I don't understand, because if she's somebody who, because when I went to prison, I asked Makena for the number of this lady, and I was able to call her. And she told me, oh, I'm going to talk to my husband, and then we'll see how we can help her. It's been, Makena is now going, this is the 7th month, I think.
Wow.
If she was to help, she could have helped her right away, because she does not even deserve to be there in the first place.
Yeah, because that's there's a gap there, really.
Yes.
If the case was to be handled in a way that was open and transparent,
Yes.
then the owner of the shop ought to have been the first person to really be called in for questioning and those kind of things.
She is the one who ought to be in prison. She ought to be in prison now, not Makena.
So Makena is in prison.
Yes.
Has been for the last 7 months.
6, 7 months. 7 months going.
And her term is
3 years.
3 years.
That means
Wow.
she's going to be there. She's meant to be there for about 2 years, 2 years plus, maybe 2 years, 4 months. I've not calculated well, but roughly. Yes.
And she is in prison because she could not even raise
The fine
the
of
fine,
100,000.
which was over 100,000.
And remember, her mother is poor, very poor. She sells vegetables for a living, so she cannot afford that fine.
Wow.
And she is a single parent, and you know.
Wow. So where are we at? Because I'm sure those who are listening to us would want to know at this stage, what is it that can be done in case someone wanted to come on board or perhaps to help. What is it that we are looking at? Because if the person is already serving term,
Yes.
what can be done at this stage?
My appeal and our appeal to our viewers, my viewers, your viewers, because they have also shown an interest in wanting to know how they can help Makena.
Yeah.
One, I need them to know that they cannot send money directly to her because she is in prison. She cannot be allowed any phone or anything, so they cannot access her. They cannot reach, money cannot go to her.
Yeah.
And even if it does, she'll need someone to she cannot leave the prison to go to pay the fine. Someone has to do it on her behalf. And this is something that should be done in Chuka, in Meru. And you see, us, we are here in Nairobi.
Yeah.
So it means that if we are able to get that help, myself and yourself will have to go to Meru and make sure that this money is paid. Then we come back from Meru with the receipt. I think it's paid in a bank. And then the bank will give us some document, I think, take to the courts. And then the courts will give us, I think, a release order to take to the prison. And then that is when she'll be released. And you see, the fine was 100,000 Kenya shillings.
Yes.
But because she has stayed now 6 months going to 7, the fine reduces. Each day it goes down. So it probably could be slightly less than 80,000.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what we are looking at.
Yes.
The good news is that, you know, if that money is raised,
she will be out. I even asked the officer, I spoke to the officer in charge the other day, and she said if the money is paid, immediately she'll be free.
I mean, we know times are hard and all of you are struggling in a way to be able to just make ends meet. But this is that one time where we ask you to sacrifice, make a sacrifice for this special case. And so if there's something you can be able to do to assist, we would really welcome that. We're going to share, I think,
a pay bill
details so that you can send your contribution to that account. And then I think we'll keep updating even our viewers.
Definitely.
So that every step we make, then you are also informed of the same.
Exactly.
You know, what for me stands out also is the fact that when someone is wrongfully accused, these, in most cases I've observed, could have a ripple effect that can even, you know, change how this person views life. You know, you're taken to prison for, mostly prisons are supposed to be correctional facilities. But if you're taken without something to be corrected, then you can be corrupted.
Because as I said, in the prison there are different categories of people. There are those who are there not because they deserve to be there, like this case, for instance. Then there are those who have actually committed a crime knowingly, and they really know that I actually did wrong and I have to be here. So these people there's no separate room for these categories. You find yourself with these people. So, you know, sometimes this can cause a lot of bitterness, depending on how one takes it, because she or he may feel that, okay, they brought me here, I don't deserve to be here. So you start picking, you know, characters that are not yours. And I don't think it is right, because, and that's why I always appeal to our judges, and I keep comparing our, can I call it our system, our judicial system, with other systems in other countries. I tell you, Justus, this girl does not deserve to be in prison. No. Because if they say that, okay, we have put her in prison because she's the one we found at the scene of crime, let's say, because probably that is what you call the scene of crime.
Yeah.
They could have found...
What are investigations for?
Exactly. This lady is walking free in Meru.
And
probably she's even selling. I don't know.
Yeah. And you see, someone perhaps could have a hard time really understanding why we are trying to fundraise and the person who is responsible for all this is resting pretty. But I think for us, first of all, the initial stages or the first steps we are making here are first of all to have this girl out of that prison. Place. Yes. We shall definitely follow up with the rest of the case, because we would want also justice to be served at the end of the day. Exactly. But before we can be able to go through the rest of the processes, I think it's urgent for us to have this girl come out of this facility before her mind is really corrupted. And even just for the fact that we both know, and we all know, even from those who have heard her story, that she does not deserve to be there. You've seen the reaction of your audience and mine too. So if we can come together to save the plight of this girl and probably help her get a future that is hers or that she deserves, I think God in heaven will also be happy. Sure. So our appeal is that, you know, whatever you have, any amount, we are going to put up the pay bill, and those who can do Mpesa or PayPal. I've had occasions when people, especially abroad, most of them don't even know what this Mpesa thing is, so they prefer PayPal. So we can put both numbers for those who are willing. Your people, my people, we are one family. Definitely. Let's come together and help this girl, please.